Great. Welcome, everybody. Hey, we are
Hey,
live. Well, another. Oh, hold on. I screwed this up. I was messing around with these guys earlier. Phew. Whew.
oh,
Consciously unmasked, everybody.
whew.
I'm going to have to delete that in the beginning. But it turns out. All right. So,
We wouldn't want
Jason.
anyone to not know who we are.
Oh, man. Hey, I think I met someone that looked very eerily like you earlier this week.
How was it? Was it weird?
It was really. Almost like deja vu. I
It
thought I
was
was in a
surreal.
simulation.
Yeah.
So what's up, man? So what happens is my girlfriend, she's awesome. She knows that I watched Kyle Dunnigan, and he does these face over things, and he does voices, and he just has fun with it, and it's fun. Like Rambo, his Joe Biden's pretty amazing, and he does all these shows. Like he did the Fresh Pres of of DC and stuff. Awesome stuff. My girlfriend surprised me with 2 tickets. So I'm like, oh, Jason, you won't believe it. Kyle Dunnigan's in town, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
cool. I got people in town. We're going to go too. So then we end up meeting up down there, man.
Our
And
first
you're
time meeting
huge.
in person.
Yeah,
Pretty
first
crazy.
time. First time. So we met our significant others met some family people. So it was real cool. So very nice to meet you in person, sir. We had a good time. It was fun. And then
Yeah,
as soon as it's over, we're like, let's go home because it's late. Because we're
I
old.
know I only look this tall on the screen there, but yeah, I'm 6'4" and almost 300 pounds. So you
You
were
are
pretty shocked.
all of that, sir. And I did
Yeah.
not think 300, but dude, let me put it this way. If I'm Israel, I know who I'm using as a human shield moving forward. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a good time. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, me too,
I
man.
wish we
We'll have
got
to,
to
we
chat more.
definitely, well, it's funny because we live like probably 45 minutes to an hour apart, even
Yeah.
though we're technically in the same area. And we've been talking about trying to get an in-person podcast because the quality's better. We get to control like everything a little bit easier, get to
Hmm.
like, record it on higher quality and just get better lighting and everything. And in person, the cues are much easier. You get the more natural flow. But
Yeah.
we'll have to figure it out sometime. But right now, for now, it was cool to meet. So didn't expect it to happen. So it was kind of cool.
You got me out of the house, man. That's a feat on its own.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me, man. But well, welcome everybody. So Jason, we've got something about the media, my friend. What do we got going on today?
You are fake news. CNN, you're terrible.
It's fake news. Did you see the Jimmy Dore clip where they edited all the CBS stuff? Where CBS had a whole conversation and they showed it side by side, and then they blacked out where they edited it out and he kept talking, and they just
No.
showed where they didn't show this whole part, like whole portions of it. So like when we
Oh,
started delving into this topic about the media and how they manipulate us and what they do, like it must have changed our algorithm because I started getting all crazy stuff. How about you?
oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is always a problem, but it's like a cycle that just when something's happening, the media starts to lose their shit and just say all kinds of crazy stuff. And we see it happening a lot right now. I think the thing that sparked this that most people have probably seen going around was the CBS free speech thing, where the reporter, I think it was on Face of the Nation, she was talking about Nazi Germany and how free speech caused the Holocaust. It's like, okay, that's
Yeah.
someone's lost their shit a little bit.
Yeah, and I think we have that clip up here, so we will definitely be
We have
playing
that.
that at
We'll get
some
to
point.
it.
Yep, definitely. So yeah, it's pretty amazing, man. So what we're talking about is like the media, and once again, you and I have, I'd argue, a little bit outside of the norm idea of thinking ideology, like anarchy or whatever, ANCAP. Trust me, people who break from the system will get there. You
Hmm.
just kind of naturally get there once you get away from the other stuff. But my job's not to tell you where to go. My job's not to
Yeah.
tell you what to think. It's it's simply to be a messenger that the people, they are the ones pulling the puppet strings, and they manipulate you in ways you don't even understand you're being manipulated. Now,
Hmm.
the reason I know this is cuz I was a person who was manipulated. Iraq was my thing where I bought into the WMDs and all the nuclear stuff. And I wanted Gaddafi gone in the 80s when they bombed him with the F-111, Douglas F-111 bomber things after Berlin. So like I I know how they do it now that it's been exposed. And when we
Mhm.
share these messages, these are not criticisms of people who still believe the stuff they believe. This is a hi. We come with grace. We're offering you to share with you an information that you're just not aware of, maybe. Because at some point we weren't aware. So
Yeah.
all we're trying to do is share that message. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you could definitely find me in the mid 2000s defending Iraq war, post 9/11. Well, we got to fight them over there or else they're going to come over here and blow us all up. So definitely that was something I had to break through. I don't know if you had a moment where it was like, "Oh, this is really clear now." For me, it didn't fully hit until I saw the way they talked about Trump, and we've talked about this. I'm not a fan, obviously, but I could just see that what they were saying was an obvious lie. So they're just lying, lying, lying all day about Donald Trump, doing everything they can to make him look like he's some Russian puppet or a Nazi or whatever the hell. And so that was my really breakthrough moment, 2016 ish.
Yeah, mine was definitely after Iraq, and it was very slow. We're talking such a slow ember for me of the transition, but
Hmm.
like that pivotal moment that you're talking was probably 16 with Hillary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Russian collusion, Russian this, Russian that, and we know what she is. We know what reptile snake she is. And you're like, she handpicked Donald Trump because she thought she could beat the guy, not because she
Hmm.
wanted, oh, you should run, Donald. And he's like, okay, maybe I will. And I remember the 92 to 8% that she was going to get, and it was going to be a landslide, and how she was going to revolutionize. Oh my God, just the whole pivotal, everything. And just the vomit that came out. Then the Steele dossier, then Russia collusion, then, yeah, Putin puppet all of a sudden for no reason. Putin puppet, no, not just out of the blue. Let's just pick
Hmm.
that out. And then obviously COVID just absolutely exacerbated. But we had our moments like 2008. We
Hmm.
had our Occupy Wall Street. I wasn't. I'll be honest. In 2008, I was still on the side where I'm like, who are these? Who are these hippies fighting this bullshit? Can we just get back to
Yeah.
work?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Same.
I honestly thought that they were just people looking for stuff, not people who had been crushed, hurt, whatever. I thought they picked those guys up and were like, yeah, they're going to grab a couple of those. But like most of those people were victims. And what's crazy about that, what did Obama do with that? Oh, we've got this whole group of weird people who normally wouldn't be united. How do we divide them? Well, this guy looks a little different than that guy, and that one's a woman, and that person wants to be a woman. So let's divide them on, you know what I mean? Let's divide them in different ways with color and race and sex. And that's how they did it. Then under Obama, who was elected twice, mind you, twice as a black
Hmm.
man, twice in the United States, was in the most racist country at the time. That's how it's spun, right? That was a media spin. So like we're gonna go through how they do this stuff, and it's really important that it's we're not here to tell you what to think or how to think. We just want to break what you've been probably trained to think, because
Hmm.
we're gonna guess. You're gonna find yourself going, oh yeah, yeah, I'd do that, or yeah, wow, that is an interesting way to look at it. So hopefully we can break some of those things.
Yeah, I mentioned cycle, so that was one. The sorry, Occupy Wall Street was one. Then it went around to the Trump stuff, and then COVID, obviously a huge one. I feel like we're entering a new freak out cycle, if that makes sense. A new one
Yeah.
starting because Trump's in there with Elon Musk, and they hate the guy. They used to love Elon, but they hate him because he's actually talking about cutting the government, and that is their gravy train. So that's kind
Yeah,
of
and
where
it's
we're going to
crazy.
start out.
Yeah, so let's do that. And to the point, like what bothers me, and I think it bothers you too a little bit, is like, why are you forcing me to defend Elon?
Yeah.
Why are you forcing me to defend Trump? I'm not here to defend Trump. I literally go, When he has an idea I agree with, I'll go, that's great. And when he has a shitty idea, like take the guns first, I don't agree with it. It's not that difficult, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that difficult. Like the thing about Elon giving the checks back. Are you what? Burn the money, man. Take it out of the debt. Why would what? You know what
I'll
I mean?
take a
Just that
check.
kind of stuff, right? So anyway, so do you want me to start with the first clip, sir?
Yeah, I just one more thing before we get to it. I just want to say I hope this is like the death throes of the legacy media, because they're trying really hard. And each time it goes through this cycle, it gets worse. It gets more obvious how full of shit they are. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So to your point on that, it's like the same thing with the tighter your grip, the more systems slip through your fingers, right? They're white knuckling it right now. They are
Mm-hmm.
freaking out. And I watched the newest Dave Smith today, and it's funny. He called it legacy media, and then he's like something switched in his brain. He called it dinosaur media, and I'm like, that maybe dodo media might even be better, but like seriously,
Yes.
dinosaur media, because they are just not. They're not evolving. They're not evolving the way the world is evolving. They just think they can hold on to their thing, right? So,
And all you got
all
to
right.
do is just tell the truth, man. You can rail on Trump all day if you want. Just say true things. There's plenty to criticize. And then do it to both sides. That's why no one trusts them.
Yeah, it's the hypocrisy of it, right? That's a huge part of it.
Yes.
So here we go as the
That's
first
the worst
clip.
part.
Everything we do is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day, or X today, saying like, we are the media, you are the media. My message to Elon Musk is bullshit. You're not the media. You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle, and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter any more than me looking at your head and seeing that you have a brain and telling you have an awesome set of tools makes me a damn neurosurgeon, right? Like what we do, what journalists do, what you did in Mississippi, what Al Jazeera does in the Middle East. You don't proclaim yourself to be a reporter. Like that's nonsense. Like being a reporter's hard.
That just cracks me up, man. It's so hard. You guys can't just say you're a reporter.
Man. I remember like real reporters when they looked like crap and they slept in their cars and they reeked of cigarettes and they didn't shower for days. Those were the reporters. And it
Yeah.
actually got so elitist because of Woodward and Bernstein. We'll get into those two guys because I know Woodward's a good one that we'll definitely talk about, like who's a plant, who's actually a reporter, who's working for whom,
Mhm.
right? Like Brzezinski, come on. Brzezinski's daughter just happens to be with Scarborough. F you. Right? So anyway,
Biden's
also,
cogent. He's the most
yeah,
cogent I've ever seen.
cogent. There's never been more cogent. All right, so and I'm sure I think we're gonna play that too. So this is another thing too. Everybody, we're talking about the media today. We're probably gonna have a hard stop in 2 hours, just so you know. We're 15 in. So we just want to do this because our brains will explode because we start exchanging ideas and our heads start like warming up to like that weird temperature in that movie. Remember that movie Paycheck? Where you start forgetting memories once they heat your brain temperature up a certain core temperature. We get to that
Yeah.
point. We can't get there. So if we go over, it's okay. We're not going to cut anything from this. We're just going to stop where we stop, wherever the natural stop is at the time, and then we'll continue the next time we have another podcast because we literally clipped like 20 clips for this. So we really came prepared.
Yes. And by the way, if anyone's just listening, they can't see the video. I don't know if that's possible for the live stream, but for the recording later, that was Jim Vandehay. He's the CEO of Axios. And he was responding to Elon Musk's claims that people on X are the media now. And obviously, he's pissed off. He was speaking at some press award ceremony. I forgot what it was exactly, but he's talking to his fellow reporters, media lapdogs for the government. But yeah, they're eating it up, of course. But he's just like, oh, it's so hard to be a reporter. You can't just say you're a reporter. No, it's really not that complicated to be a reporter. Yes, there are hard jobs. Yes, you could find yourself in a dangerous situation, but it's really not that complicated. You find out information and you share it to people. That's what makes you a reporter. That's all you have to do.
Right. And I get, well, and that's the funny thing is, like, what are you saying? Reporter, journalist, right? Like, is there a difference? Because a reporter, once again, could just be like, I'm a person who collects everybody else's news and then just reports it.
Yeah.
Technically, that's a reporter. That doesn't mean that you're saying anything's true or false. You're just re-echoing the message, right? But journalists are the ones who work hard where they roll up their sleeves. And it's like, yeah, how many journalists don't do their own work? Because we're going to get into some of that. Obviously, we'll see lazy journalism and how it bites them in the butt when they're not prepared for responses that they don't expect. So,
well, let's go to the next one. Continuing this Van de Hey dude.
Part 2 of Van de Hey.
Being a reporter, so hard.
So hard. It's so hard being a reporter.
Like being a reporter's hard. Really hard.
Really hard.
Hair. You have to do the hard work. You have to get up every single day and say, I want to get to the closest approximation of the truth without any fear, without any favoritism. You don't do that by popping off on Twitter. You don't do that by having an opinion. You do it by doing the hard work.
Yeah, come on, slow clap, everybody. Whoa. First of all,
Morning Joe makes an appearance.
Ordinary content. It needed to be said.
Yeah.
It continues to need to be said. When all of the garbage is flying around on social media, lying about reporters, lying about the hard work they do, lying about the hard work editors do, lying about everything up and down about not only their alternative set of facts, but alternative set of facts about what people like you do.
Yeah, that's it. So.
Right. Hold on. Top right corner. That guy.
Dude, what happened?
He was very different from the guy I remember growing up.
Is that old?
I remember that guy talking. This guy, the guy I'm circling. Can you see that possibly on the mouse?
No.
Maybe. Okay. Anyway, that guy in the top right corner, that guy was the one who got together about the Duke boys and accused the Duke boys of the rape of that prostitute that never actually happened. And I think when they asked him about it to apologize, he goes, "Why should I apologize? We've been oppressed for 400 years." Just FYI, just FYI. I think that was that guy. Might have been the other guy, the guy with the 2 J's, but I always get the AS and 2 J's mixed up, the double J. So anyway,
yeah.
Once again, live.
So you get it done by doing the hard work. That's what reporting is. You just have to work hard. That's it. And you're a reporter. He admitted it.
It's hard. But
yeah, and then Morning Joe, the slow clap, the scripted slow clap, man, that's great.
Isn't it great? It's just beautiful. And once again,
like, people
on
X, you're lying. You're just lying. You have an alternative set of facts. It's not fair. It's like, dude, who do you work for? Who are you talking to? People have to do this because you guys aren't doing your fucking jobs.
Yep,
that's it.
And it is crazy, like these weird cycles that happen just historically in general, right? We've got, I don't want to get shades of 40s and 30s, but we've got a nationalist movement that is a total pushback to some globalist thing that was going on, right? And that was to some speech suppression, which pushed it underground, which now erupted back to where we started becoming the reporters. To your point, we became the media because they were no longer doing their job, or maybe they were doing their job too well, right? Because that's what we're finding out is, what is the job of media? Is it really to find truth?
Yeah. I think if you still believe that, you got much bigger problems. Does anyone believe that? Like, no one trusts the media, except I guess maybe if you're older than 70. You still watching Fox News in the nursing home?
That's exactly right. Did you hear the thing about Fox News? I'm going to share this post in a second. Did you see the thing about something? Was it on Fox News or CNN where they're like, our people are too old to push the button on the remote control? That's like how they perceive their audience. Like literally, they're just dying
Yeah.
out, completely dying out. So basically, Zach was sharing something about his fat cat in a box. AWOL Aaron jumped on. Welcome, guys. I'm assuming he's talking about Schrodinger, which we covered Schrodinger in another podcast episode.
Oh shit! There's so many comments. I just realized.
I know. I literally just clicked on the comments and they popped up, so I'm a little behind everybody. So apologies, but
Yeah.
But it looks like Aaron and Zach are very lively in there. So feel free. We'll jump on.
Take Zach's Morning Joe comment right there. Morning Joe's great entertainment. I sometimes watch to laugh and how retarded they all are. Yeah, that is the only value that they have left, man. I kind of hope they don't ever go away because it's so great to just pull clips of them being idiots and laughing and mocking them.
Right. And it's beautiful because Brzezinski, once again, that woman is the daughter of the guy Brzezinski, who, if you look at his U.S. American foreign policy, that guy's freaking fingerprints are all over it. He's all over Scott's book and Provoked. He's all over the 80s and all the time before.
Provoked. Right there.
There it is. He's got it. So once again, it's crazy because Brzezinski's literally in everything. I mean, like it's like Kissinger, Brzezinski, and then like, you know what I mean? And then you're like, wait, the daughter of the most influential foreign affairs guy is the host or co-host of the most popular, you know, quote unquote popular mainstream messaging service. Like, because you can't look at news as news. It's not like it's not giving it's a messaging service. It's just whatever the message is. It's not always truth, right? It's whatever the message is, right? And we're going to show that throughout some of these clips that we'll shot throughout this. So
yeah. I guess on the alternative set of facts thing, there really is like a difference between how people see the world, and we kind of talked about that in our simulation thing and in our free will thing. Like maybe you don't control it. It's influenced by what groups you're in, what you watch, what you consume, who you hang out with. So it's hard to say, and I'm always like on guard to make sure that I'm seeing the right movie. It's like the two movies on one screen phenomenon.
Yeah,
people are seeing different things, different realities, and why?
Yeah,
it's just because of man, I'm really influenced by talking to Andrew Heaton. Like he really got in my head thinking about these tribes. It's
really a great podcast with Heaton. Yeah, and I love talking tribalism. Please go ahead.
It comes down to what tribe you're in, what you believe, and you are your brain, maybe not consciously, but your brain is perfectly happy to believe things that are not true when they fit in with what the tribe thinks. And so what each side of the mainstream media is doing is feeding what their tribe wants to hear and selling the fact that the other tribe is just this awful, murderous, terrible, terrible people that if they got in power, they will destroy everything about your life. And none of that's true. I mean, any government's going to destroy your life, but at a certain level, you know?
Yeah, but on a broader scale, remember, the bigger forces at play are actually the ones pushing both sides of the buttons. Mm-hmm. So it's like even the two tribes aren't really two tribes. It's an illusion of two tribes. It's literally the illusion so that we create some kind of choice when there really is a pseudo choice. Now, I will argue, once again, not defending who Trump is. I did not vote for Trump in 2024. I apologize. I did not vote for Trump in 2024 when he won the presidency. Okay, this last time. I did not vote for him. I voted NOTA. First time ever I broke free from the voting thing on actual people. I voted on the policies, the props and stuff, but on direct initiatives. But anyway, that said, like Trump is an atypical guy, but he wasn't. He wasn't until they made him that. Yeah. Honestly, his first term, if they would have just shut up, he would have won a second. It would have actually been over by now. It would have already been over. Honestly, nothing would have changed because they wouldn't have upset the hornet's nest. That's just a dude you don't mess with. It's just, that's what I think they're doing. I think they just picked the very wrong person to screw with.
Yes, agreed. And I think they really messed up going too far with this division stuff, because it does
Overplayed their
play well
hand.
for them in the short term. It plays well for them to get us to fight each other and not focus on what's going on at the top. But I feel like they pushed it way too far. Now people are really seeing it's just absurd, right? Like, you watch the news, like, oh, none of that's real. Okay. It's just too obvious. But they're trying to make you think you hate your neighbor. But when you go talk to your neighbor, you're fine. I mean, unless you're like me and a total total introvert. I hate everybody, but you know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, you make total sense. And even on top of that, what's interesting is, like, I don't know, we agree on so many things. Like, what do we really disagree on? You know what I mean? So, like, if you actually talk with someone, you could have a conversation about pretty much anything without getting into a fight. And that would be any
Yeah.
stranger. You could figure something to talk about.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so we don't need to be hating each other. This is all stupid.
yeah. And that's the thing, is like to your point, you're saying, Fox is not CNN. Okay, sure. And I love it, because I'll talk to my mom. She's like, yeah, but they have some truths to it. And you're like, yeah, CNN has some truth to it too. They do. It's like 90% not. But if you ever go and align yourself against what they align with, war, big pharma, anything that pays their bills, the deep state, like, they're not going to let you be on there. And we talk, we're going to go into those things as well. So it's like, as long as you're playing within that range, like even Noam Chomsky talks about, there's a range. I mean, Carlin, it's a range of things they want you to work with. And the greatest example here is this. You and I are debating on troops in Iraq. And you say, I want 50,000 troops in Iraq. We need 50,000 troops. And I go, you're ridiculous. You're such a warmonger. We only need 25,000 troops. Well, what? No. I should be saying zero.
Yeah. Well, none.
Right?
Zero.
Like, no, I should be saying zero. But what do we say is we already set the range between 25 and 50 now. And that's like to the public, and they don't even know it. Like, no one says zero. No, they say 25, and the other guy said 50. Now we're arguing between 25 and 50, but troops are going, and troops are going to die, and other people are going to get hurt. That's just how it's going to end up, right?
Yeah, and that's part of the good of Trump, is that he broke that Overton window. He broke out of it. He's like, you guys are talking about this again. Not saying Trump is good at a lot of things, but he was good at making the media lose their minds and reveal their game. So it's not nothing.
Yeah, and that's the truth. It's just, he spoke, like, he had gaffes, but he didn't give a shit. He wasn't trying to hide the gaffe. Like, yeah. Biden would misspeak on, like, and screw up and say a gaffe, which is basically a fact that he didn't want anyone to know about. But Trump's like, they got all the oil. We want the oil. Look at him with Ukraine. He goes, we just invested $300 billion. We want it back in minerals, at least. Yeah. He's like, dude, the guy's just not. He doesn't have the same. It's a different spirit. It really is like a business mentality, and I think that kind of jives with our life way more than like a governmental bureaucracy jives. And I think that's why people warm up to him. And I'm not, once again, not defending the person or whatever. But you're nodding your head in the first 100 days or whatever so far has been pretty darn crazy. 73 executive orders.
Wow, man. I love that it's now in the conversation that we can shut things down, that there is government waste everywhere, and that we can start to actually make a difference in this.
Here's a good one from AWOL Aaron, if you want to take that one.
Mocking has become a new form of art. Memes that mock are the new hot news. Yeah, definitely.
And it's funny because, like, there's... Oh, go ahead.
Something you said reminded me of Michael Malice, who says the corporate press is they're factual, but not truthful. I would say they're often factual, but never truthful. Sometimes they just make up facts too. But a good example of that is just cutting clips out of context, like Trump's fine people. There's very fine people on both sides. That was really bad. Sorry. There's fine people on both sides. That was better. They just cut that out of context and said, oh yeah, Trump said that Nazis are fine people.
I mean, to the point where an ex-president uses that in his speech. Yeah. He called them very fine people. He said they're very fine people. And you're like, fucking Obama? Obama can fucking say that shit? Like, are you serious? He can come out there and be like, use that rhetoric. He doesn't have something else. Really? That's how that's where you're at with like those. That's the ammunition you have is like crappy clips, completely out of context. Meanwhile, during the same time, the SUV killed 6 people in a parade, right? Another SUV killed some people in a parade. A gun shot up 20 people in a school. Like, oh yeah, who was operating those things? Oh, that's right. That would ruin your narrative because those facts would get in the way. So you don't want to share those facts. It is an SUV. You're right. That did hit those people. But I think the Saudi driver, whatever, whatever immigrant driver from Germany or whatever, was the one who got upset and was the one actually intentionally trying to hurt people. Just as an aside. And I'm sure that'll get us off of YouTube for this one, but whatever.
Fuck YouTube.
Yeah, fuck YouTube also. I agree. Oh yeah, and this one too.
Fuck the feds. They're everywhere. Mark's probably a fed, for all I know.
You know what? I think that's what happened. You notice how big my presence has come? I had like 1,865 followers at the beginning of the week, and I'm down to 1,810 or so. So I'm well on the way to be a Krasenstein 3.0. You look out. I want to be a Sisson 2.0 is what I want to be.
Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, well, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
So this clip is what I mentioned at the beginning. This was going around a few days ago because it's insane. You'll know it once you see it. But this lady on Face of the Nations talking to Marco Rubio, talking about a liberal's favorite historical period, which is also maybe the only one that they know about, World War II, Nazi Germany. Yeah, let's get into it.
Well, I'd argue they only know Hitler. They don't even call him Stalin ever. They've never said he's a Stalin. Just saying, all right.
That's true. They only know the German part. They probably don't even know that Italy,
they only know the German
Mussolini and Italy was part of it.
Exactly. Nor Japan.
Well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. And he met with the head of a political party that has far-right views and some historic ties to extreme groups. The context of that was changing the tone of it. And that the censorship was specifically about the right.
No, I have to disagree with you. Free speech was not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to also be genocidal because they hated Jews and they hated minorities and they hated those that they had a list of people they hated, but primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was none. There was also no opposition in Nazi Germany. They were a sole and only party that governed that country. So that's not an accurate reflection of history.
Yeah, so kudos to Rubio for getting one right. For a guy that's full of shit most of the time.
And once again, we'll talk about that. This is a great one. These guys, Tulsi, RFK, Hegseth gets through with Vance's vote. I mean, he's the only one who really just scraped by. But all these people got through. Yeah, but basically 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Marco Rubio goes up 99-0. 99 full yays, and Rand Paul is one of them. I looked it up. Just by the way, I think you asked.
He did. Yes, he did vote for Rubio.
I don't know who the absent was. I honestly, or whoever just was abstained or whatever, but I did share that sheet. But that scared us going in, right? It did. And we're finding, at least, look, this is what actually bothers me about Rubio, and he's saying the absolute correct things. It's hard to argue against the correct thing. Like, Dave Smith argues all the time for what I would argue most of the time is correct. I rarely find myself in a disagreement. Now, there might be very fine points that might disagree, but on whole general concepts, I don't. But when you watch a Marco Rubio, who also initiated, while he stood with Dick Durbin, to let in 500,000 Venezuelans, to disrupt their economy, to mess them up, to take American jobs, 500,000. He signed on to that. Okay. No one, does anyone know? No, because Republicans don't do immigration problems. They don't fucking allow people to come in the country. No, they do. They do when it fits their agenda, right? So Rubio signs on with Dick Durbin and all these other guys, okay? And he brings all those guys over from Venezuela back. It was 2000, whatever, 2014, 16, 18, whatever. Now he's talking like this. And all that tells me is he's a slimy, manipulative piece of clay that's not dissimilar from Kamala. Would you ever have heard Rubio talk like that on a Republican debate? He would have taken some Republican neocon rhetoric bullshit and he would have tried to shove that and gotten claps, right? Imagine Ron Paul on a debate stage and saying something that Rubio could just whatever. He wouldn't be like that. He just, I just don't see it. So like to think that, you know what I mean? Not that her point had any validation. It was amazing what he said. But once again, let's take it with a grain of salt too. The guy seems to be a piece of clay right now. And he knows right now anything against Trump is a death blow politically. So I don't think he's stepping out of line. You didn't see many Republicans step out of line. The only one who did was Mitch.
And we don't know what happened after this clip ended. He could have gone straight into, and that's why we need to go to war with Iran.
It is Iran, but it is Iran, China. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. JD Vance and those guys have a hard on for Iran and China for some reason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, what's his face? Gates even has it. I was told by people in the high deep state. They told me that Iran did it all. It's like, yeah, dude, Iran did it. Sure. Okay. Anyway, but that clip is so beautiful. Watching. I mean, come on. What are your thoughts about her equating free speech to Nazism?
That free speech caused the Holocaust is because they were allowed to say that we don't like Jews or something. That was the problem. It's just ridiculous. Like, how could you say that with a straight face? I don't get it. But so they'll go after free speech when it's convenient for them. But if anyone dares to talk about the media, they're like, no, First Amendment, free press, it's in there. So they're just, again, super hypocritical. It's fucking stupid, man. In what?
It's crazy.
Go ahead. I'm getting
it's crazy because like I can tell you, and watch Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson does a very good job of how Nazism came to be. And trust me, I know it because I exhibit some of that culture because literally my grandfather was a Nazi soldier and he helped raise me here in America. So like the culture's in there, right? And how Germans did it was anything they saw that they didn't like, they saw with disgust. They didn't see it with a disagreement. They saw it with disgust. And when they were able to make everything disgusting, what do you do to things that disgust you? You eradicate them. You do not agree with it. You don't give in. You clean up the disgusting things. And that's how they got it. They started with rats and like this clean service and health. And they took the state and they actually made the state bigger. To think that communism and fascism are different. They're just state wielded just different ways. There's still state centralized power, you know?
Yes.
And I had that great conversation with Reiner Zittelman. Oh, go ahead.
Just to know that, the Nazi regime did not go around saying, hey, everyone can speak freely. If you spoke anything against them, you're out. You're going to a concentration camp, brother. Like, this is just so ridiculous. Go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, that's all. And that's the thing is like, you didn't even have to speak out. You harbored one in your basement. They made no noise. Didn't bother. Obviously, they're in an attic. They're not bothering anybody in the attic when you're feeding them just barely enough to survive. Yet they had to get rid of them too, right? They had to go through every house, you know? It's like, and free speech does not know. When the stuff goes underground is when the stuff happens. They started fighting free speech. Look what happened to the weathermen, right? Or the weather people or whatever they were in the 70s.
Weather
they ended up taking over the universities, right?
Yeah. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. When Trump talks about like putting people in a database and like rounding up immigrants and Mexicans and whatever, like, okay, that's concerning. That's at least getting towards somewhere where it could reasonably say it's similar to what happened in Nazi Germany, okay, I'm fine with at least drawing a little bit of a comparison there. It's extreme, but just to say that free speech did it is just retarded.
Yeah. I mean, look, free speech allowed Hitler to say what he said, I guess. But then once an ideology took over, they shut down any opposing viewpoints. Right? I mean, that's how authoritarianism works.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know
he
what I
didn't
mean?
start with that. He wasn't just like, the Jews are bad, it's all their fault that our
Right.
country's
No, not
poor.
at all. No, it was we just got our necks stepped on by the West after World War I. I mean, look,
Yeah.
how he took power, it was ingenious. I mean, he said it, he'd do what he did, and then he did it. And then people are like, oops, we gave him too much. It's like, well, you also, I don't know. There's a lot of so nuance to it, right? Like Daryl Cooper, how much flack he's still getting for the whole Winston Churchill thing. Just even for making like a little joke. You know, Dave Smith brought it up again today. But anyway, all right, let's move on, sir. Where are we at?
They're okay. So they're talking about Holocaust. They're trying to draw these comparisons to what Elon and Trump are doing, cutting the government, which is ironic again. But in this next one, Elon got asked about, basically called out saying he's doing a hostile takeover of the government. This is from CNN.
All right. Let me pull it up. The Musk coup.
The Musk coup.
So people normally this quiet?
Your detractors, Mr. Musk.
I have to what?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted. We have a majority of the public voting for President Trump.
Can we pause it there?
In the Senate.
Yeah, hold on one second.
The people voted.
All right,
It gets a little dry when Musk starts talking, but yeah, what do you think about this mandate thing? Do you think that the Trump administration now has this big mandate to go do whatever the hell they want?
No, I don't. But I also think that Trump is a lame duck president who doesn't need to worry about re-election.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on board with an upset of the apple cart right now. Now, I'm not on board with creating power and putting power in the hands of people to do it. You know what I mean? But like, I guess you got to do that you got to push back with force, right? To make the force that you created the first thing with. Like, I hate that that's kind of the case. So the disruption to me is beautiful. Now, on USAID's case, that was made by executive order. So all the people who talked about Congress funding it and all, it doesn't. The president has control of USAID, for example. Mm-hmm. So whatever he did with that, he could just pull the whole plug if he wanted.
Yeah, agree. I don't believe in a mandate. I don't believe that they can do whatever the hell they want. Yes, like you said, I am happy that they're turning the card over. They're shining a light on some things. We'll see if it makes a big difference in the long run. I don't know. But what I want people to see, if you're against this, if you're freaking out right now because Elon is doing this, this is democracy. This is what you voted for, right? Whoever we vote for gets all the power. And if you feel like it's too much and they're just free to do anything they want, can you understand that this is not a good system? This is not working for people. We don't have to have the same shit. Like, go do your own thing in New York. Go have one in California. Let us be our own people.
It's excellent points. And that is really what it is about, right? Because we talk about the power thing. Like, yeah, if you agree with it, like I said, I've talked about this. RFK as a president would be dangerous. Because, yes, he want to do good. Okay, but once again, you and I define what good is for you and me and for everybody. It's different. It's different, right? So what you and I do is, why give them the power in the first place? Take away the power so that no matter who has it, it's only like a reference point at best, not a tyrannical authority. you know?
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
so I
RFK
continue, sir?
talked a lot about the common good. We're going to do things for the common good. It's just like, what is that? Define it. What's good?
Yeah.
What's good for
And
you
let's
is
be
not good
honest,
for me.
three seats in the Senate and a couple seats in the House of 435. Like, that's not a mandate. Like,
No.
it definitely spoke, but like this country is pretty 50-50. And it just kind of is, you know. Anyway,
Yeah.
shall I
Well, for a
continue, sir?
Republican to win the popular vote is something that doesn't happen very often.
No. And that was a rare thing. So that speaks to it, because like if you ever looked at the US map and elections by county, it's like all red except for a few huge blue spots, which happen to be highly dense popular urban areas.
Yeah. But even that, it wasn't even a majority. It was 49 point something %.
Correct.
So it's not, you can't even say it's a majority of people that voted and then take into account people that didn't vote because they don't like their choices. It's not a mandate.
No, certainly no. And like to your point is like the person though that got elected, you're getting what you wish for in a weird way, and then you're saying it's too much. Where you and I, before the pendulum even started swinging back, was like, be cautious of what they're going to do with it. Be cautious of what they're going to do with the power you give them, right? Like, no, we want them to do it, so we'll just give them the power. But then the next people aren't going to use it the same way. You know, like, I don't know how you could be that myopic. It makes no sense how you play that short-sighted, like 1D checkers, you know? So,
yeah.
I'll continue.
Yep. Let's keep going.
For major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
There's your democracy.
That's democracy in a nutshell. You get what some people vote for.
And look, the founding fathers understood the republic portion of this, having a representative democracy. Like, people directly in a mass psychosis kind of way. And we saw that with Robert Malone talked about a mass psychosis, as well as Diary of a Psychosis with Tom Woods. We're seeing like groups, people are good. Individual people are good. Person good. Groups of people, to your point, get very dangerous very quickly.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't even voting for the person. It's just like, wow, fuck, the other one's just so much worse. I couldn't stand that, so I'll vote for this guy.
Yeah, it's like, red's my favorite color, so I guess I'll vote Republican this year.
That doesn't mean you get to be a dictator, although, again, I'm not going to be mad when they shut down government agencies. I'm just not. Some libertarians, some anarchists will be. Some are already complaining, oh, this is still state action. I don't care. Shut it down. If it takes that, do it.
Okay. And correct. It is. It's like a yes and to me right now. I do agree. But if there's a net reduction in government, if there's a net reduction, what my concern was, Doge was going to be created in some weird freaking way and then wasn't going to do anything with it. Now, if it's going to be created and the net is a net cut on things, that there's nothing wrong with that, because they've already taken our money, right? I mean, they're stealing our money as it is. So I'd rather you just blow it less poorly.
I'm telling you, I want the $5,000 check and I want the IRS shut down. It doesn't have to be one or the other, guys. Give me some of my money back. That'll be a small drop in the bucket of everything I paid so far in taxes.
Because that 5,000, every person won't do anything to inflation.
It's already out there, man. The money's already there.
Right. All right, my friend.
But only give it to people that actually pay taxes.
Well, there you go. True. And only the ones that pay more than 5,000.
Maybe.
And then you just get your money back up to 5, and then
I don't know. Even if you paid 1,000, you probably paid at least 5 in your lifetime. You can have it.
There you go. Yeah, bring it all back. Bring it all back.
Bring it back. Nah, I'm kidding. But anyways, yeah, so they're mad at Elon Musk again. They
It's all
used
his
to love
fault.
the guy, but
I know it's so crazy how he was just the innovator, the creator of the electric car, blah 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 blah. And I remember initial Top Gear. I remember there being controversy behind that when they got the first Tesla Roadster, because like it was all the gearhead like petrol industry that was going to shit on the electric car industry. So they beat the living shit out of the car and made it kind of seem like it wasn't up to snuff. I don't know if you ever saw that one, but like
no.
they kind of, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, really? Because I think Jeremy Clarkson talked about it because he got pulled in some, weird conspiracy thing where they went after him. You know what I mean? And he's like, screw it. Here's all the secrets he should know. Everything's rigged. Everything's fucking rigged.
Yeah, right. It really is. Everything is. And there's some irony here about Musk talking about unelected bureaucrats because he is one, but it's a much bigger irony for the media to be talking about Musk as this big unelected bureaucrat when that has been our system of government forever. Forever. At least 100 years. It's been this way.
Rockefellers didn't create the Fed, right? Like no one pushed anyone into wars. Lockheed Martin doesn't advocate, like what? Yeah.
I mean,
the
it's
whole
even
time.
it's in the Constitution, right? Like the president picks these people for his cabinet. And yes, Doge is not a cabinet position, but does it matter? It's just a title. Anyway, so I'm like Justin says, I can't imagine how anyone whose ultimate goal is the reduction of size and scope of government can be upset at this first month under Trump. Yeah, things are happening that I never thought I would see. So again, I'm skeptical about the long-term effects. Is it going to stick? Is it going to actually do anything? Are they going to stop it somehow? Or is it going to come right back as soon as he gets out? I don't know, but yeah, I'm not mad about it.
Not at all. And it's funny because, like, once again, you see the point from the people who live in different worlds. And I have a buddy who posted something about Trump enriching billionaires. And you're like, the message isn't the rich need to pay their fair share. That's not what you should be spreading. The message should be no fucking taxes, period. Taxation is theft across the board, not they got to pay their fair share because they're making me pay my fair share. No, we should all be fighting to pay any share. The government should stop printing any money, should have no role in that, should have no business in that. And things would be much different if we had run.
And most of those people are probably billionaires because they cozied up to the right people in government because they got special favors. Zach's still talking about his water.
All right, Zach, I gotta talk about this as a quick break. All right, so we've got a couple people on chat. We've got AWOL Aaron, we got IM4IM, we got Zach, we got Justin. Welcome everybody, whoever else. It's funny, Valley Girl sent me a message on the X. I don't want to get too personal about it, but she was unable to attend right now, but hopefully she's okay. Hopefully everything's okay there. But okay, so Zach bought some water filter thing. And I don't know, can you pull that up, Jason, on your Twitter anywhere? Do you have that in the X-Tards email? So he got some water filter. If you could post that water filter in the comments. And Zach's had 5 glasses of this water today. And I don't know what he's really excited about it. So we want to share in his excitement.
Oh, it won't let me post a picture.
Oh, okay. Anyway, does it have the post what it's called or something? That's just a link or anything? Copy link? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Anyway, so there we go. So Zach's got this cool water filter. If you want to put the link in, Zach, go ahead and put it in the comments. We'll post it up there.
An Aqua Gear filter container. That's what he said it is.
Oh, Justin just asked, is it the Kangen? So, but it's the one, Justin, what's it called? Jason?
Aqua Gear. Aqua Gear container filter.
Aqua Gear. There it is. All right. You want to read that one too for us, Jason? From Justin?
Yeah, Justin says they're going after Elon because that is who they can charge up their base. Trump is too popular. Their other option is defending corruption. So the only choice they have is attacking Elon's access. Yeah, they're all worried about his clearance and, oh, he's got your information. Bro, like everyone's got your information. The government has had your information at least since the Patriot Act. They've got everything. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty
And a
sure
lot
he's going
worse
after my
people
tax return
than
from
Elon.
2016.
Yeah. Fuck. I'll
Pretty
post
sure.
my tax returns if you want them. I don't care.
I know. I love people are like, oh, be careful your identity theft. I'm like, you want it? You want it? You know, I'm always happy to offer a different identity. So, oh, there it is.
Aqua Gear. We gotta get a sponsorship from this company.
Yeah, we're gonna need this Aqua Gear sponsorship.
I'm not
Aqua
gonna
Gear,
say the
reach out
name
to us
again until they pay me. Pay up, bros.
I guarantee one of the 36 people that are watching right now, 37 people live, are one of them is an Aqua Gear representative, and they will reach out to us. Oh, we're up to 38. Look at this. We are just flying through. Everyone, welcome. Welcome to another Consciously Unmasked. Top right logo shows it all. It is Jason's Guy Fawkes mask on top of both of our swollen brains, I think is what it is. But we're talking about the media and how effed up they are. So where shall we continue, sir?
Let's go into the next clip. This is from The Daily Show. One of the days where Jon Stewart is not hosting. So sorry about that. But they're talking about
he gets
this.
shit wrong too.
Oh, I know. But at least he's better.
Yeah, it's true. 100%. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
It's good that we have Elon Musk here because we've been watching him slashing programs and shuttering agencies for a month now, and we can finally ask Elon, why are you doing this?
If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that the president, the House, and the Senate decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy.
Wow. What? Wow. I mean, you see why this guy's a genius. You don't want an unelected bureaucrat running the country. It makes a lot of sense. No questions here. I do have one question, though. Isn't that you? I mean, am I going crazy? Because it feels like I'm watching Drake sing Not Like Us at karaoke. Does he not know?
Yeah, I guess the point is, does he not know that he's an unelected bureaucrat at this point? Yeah, but the irony is that they don't give a shit about the ones that are there doing fucked up things. They care about the ones that are shutting down the gravy train. That's really it.
Right. And it's funny because once again, Musk got it wrong because what does he say? Democracy, and he talks about the three branches. Mm-hmm. And the whole point about the checks and the balances is about the being a republic, right? Like it's kind of the way it's not really designed the same way, right? Because the SCOTUS, not a single SCOTUS member is elected by the public, not a single one. So there's a whole branch of the electorate that he mentioned that, you know what I mean? Like, so like it would be nice if we all actually were taught this stuff, actually how civics worked. Because like when we did, I think we had a little bit better handle on stuff. And yeah, we had only one form of news that told us all the lies versus like 5 sources of news that tell us all the lies. But, you know, at least we thought we had a little more information or felt we were a little closer to it.
Yeah, the sad thing is it doesn't really work like they teach it. It just, yeah, they say that, oh yeah, the House votes on stuff and then blah, blah, blah. The court decides on the law. They're unbiased. Yeah, no, that's just impossible. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and it's funny. When did the Supreme Court eat or not eat before they made the ruling on the 2A decision? Yeah. I would like to say they had full tummies. They came right back from lunch and they're like, this is bullshit. This 2A thing, this bump stock thing, this is bullshit. But some of the other shit they kept, you're like, man, they must have been really hungry when they made that ruling.
Yeah. I don't know. So Elon has a lot of bad takes too. Like when he was asked about Roger Ver, he's like, nope, he gave up his citizenship. No pardon for him. It's only you're only in the club if you're an American. So it's just like, dude, fuck off, man.
Considering he is a nationalized American, like and maybe I think he's allowed to have the opinion of that, saying like, look, I worked hard to become a nationalized citizen. I'm offended that anyone would want to willingly give that up. And that's why I have this viewpoint. But he didn't, right? Like he came at it, to your point, like, no. And you're like, if he said it that way, isn't that a different approach? Even like you could still disagree and be wrong, but like you don't have an issue with his viewpoint if he can express it in a way that's a lot more cogent.
He's cogent.
So
Yeah.
I just had to
Zach-
say it because like it's coming, man.
Zach has a good comment. Do the shitlibs forget that Bill Gates and George Soros run the Democrats? Yeah, of course. We've been talking about that for years. They don't care.
I got this guy on my Facebook. He's some dude. I don't know why, but no matter what I post, his reply to me is some GIF, whatever it's called, that says stop. And it's some different version of stop. And then I'll write, let me guess. I'm protecting the billionaires, right? Because I know where he's gonna go. All he says, it's the funniest rhetoric. You're protecting the billionaires. You're protecting the billionaires. And then I play him the clip from the DNC. Remember the guy who's like, I'm a true billionaire. He doesn't even know what a billionaire is. And all the DNC guys are like cheering. And you're like, oh, who's protecting billionaires? I'm sorry. Who's got the bill? No, both of us do. And the funny thing, you're putting me in once again. You're making me defend fucking orange hair. I'm not here to defend. I'm here to talk about ideas, and there is specific pieces of an idea. Like this issue would be good. This would be bad. This would be, this would be good. This I don't care about. This is how I want to deal with it. I don't want to be all this because I'm blue, all that because I'm red. And it's just like, it's so silly how people have to do this, to your point, the tribalism. And Heaton talks about it so well. Like, do you want to share a little bit about the Heaton story with the drawn line, about the length of it? I thought that was so fascinating. Do you remember that?
Because I can remember. Yeah, so this was a social experiment, probably done at a university or something, but I guess a teacher had the students look at two lines, and these are the same length of line, right? But I think this is the one you're thinking of. The experiment
one was actually noticeably longer than the other.
Oh, okay, yeah. So one's noticeably longer. They ask which one is shorter, right? And I think they had some actors in the game.
All but one guy was an actor.
All but one, who said that the longer line, the clearly visible longer line, was shorter. So this guy, the one that's not in on the illusion here, he goes and sees this, and he actually selects the one that is longer, even though the question was which one is shorter. And that just goes to show that people will follow tribe. That doesn't even have to be.
And that was a repetitive.
No consequence.
That was repeated time and time again too. It wasn't like a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing too. Is like, look, let's be honest. You're in a room of 10 people. Now, I am wired differently. I swear to God, I would not say that. I just wouldn't. I don't know why. To my own detriment, I'd be the dude at the outside of the tribe. I'd be the one clubbed in the head, whatever. But imagine you're one of 10 people, and 9 of them are saying this thing is blue and it's red or something. And you're just like, does it really affect my life if I say it's blue? Whereas if I say it's red, like I'm going to get undue nervousness, tension, anxiety. My heart rate's going to go up because these other 9 people are going to argue with me. Like, is the juice worth the squeeze at that point? And think about that.
For me, it is.
Right. And that's the point though. If it's not, then you're way more malleable and way more susceptible to those things. Because like, if you think those little things don't matter, there's nothing wrong. It's okay to feel that way. There's no, but to people like you and I who know that the attention to detail is the mortar that holds the stuff together, or the foundation that keeps the stuff going, that's the stuff that needs to be addressed. We feel those are the issues. And sometimes you and I miss the big picture with the fineness that we search into something, right? So we do. Yeah. This is why the variance of people is so great, because some people can see the big picture when we can find that micro thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've seen a version of that where it's like people in a waiting room and there's one real person, but then they have a bunch of actors that go into the waiting room and there's a beep happening. And every time there's a beep, everyone stands up. And it takes 2 or 3 times for this beep to go off, but finally the real person in there starts standing up with the group. It's very interesting. And
amazing.
again, it's like there's no consequence if you don't stand up, right? No one's going to come in there and beat you up, but everyone's doing it. So I guess I got to do it.
Because once again, evolution is the consequence could be if you don't do what the tribe does, you're out.
Yeah.
And when you were out back in the day, you were dead. You couldn't do everything yourself. You just couldn't.
And I'm starting to think that people are libertarians because they don't have that. There's just something like wires got missed or crossed or something. People are libertarians or anarchists because they're just like, no, I don't care if it's blue or red, and it doesn't matter if I say it's red when it's blue. I still cannot tolerate not telling the truth. Like, I just can't. So there's probably just some defect of humanity that we have.
I mean, look, we talk about the spectrum, and it's not like autism hasn't been around. It's just exacerbated. It's just exponentially gone. It's outside of the realm of normal now, but it always existed to some extent. People are disagreeable. People see other people as means to an end. People like you and I, like, we're kind, warm people. We met totally genuine, nice to each other. But like, honestly, we could have easily been like, yeah, I'm cool not meeting today, whatever. Like, not because this is how we're wired. Like, not, it has nothing to do with the disrespect for you or whatever. It'd just be like how we feel about it, like the experience or something. So like that does happen, you know, it's real important to know that, like, and you're right. Libertarians are kind of just wired a little, they're a little off, just a little off.
Different.
And then when you isolate, and then it gets exacerbated, man. Then you get boot on head guy, you get naked guy, you get all those other weirdos who walk.
Vermin Supreme.
Anyway, you want to share this from Justin, this piece?
Justin, their outrage, as always, is completely disingenuous. They only care about their own power, the people, the debt, or anything else they claim to champion the cause for is all bullshit. That's, of course, 100% true. They don't care. As long as they can keep their shit going, keep their power going, keep the money coming in, that's all they care about. They'll say whatever they need to say to get you to believe in their cause. And it's never true. It's never what they really want to do.
Right.
So to see Trump actually going in and doing what he said he was going to do, yeah, we're going to shut shit down. We're going to shut the Department of Education. To see him actually going in and at least trying to do that is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and what I really do is, let's be honest, we talk about it too, is he's moving so quickly that they can't keep up. And I think we get into that a little later too.
Yeah.
And that's a beauty thing, is just this initial rush that he came in. It seems like he came in prepared. It's like he had a game plan. Now, you can argue with what he wants to do with Gaza and Adelson. You can you and I probably all do. Okay. You can argue with all the other stuff, but he's kept some of he's kept his like campaign promises. He and Angela worked, you know, obviously Thomas Massey has always been pushing for Ross's release. Okay. Yes, he has, but we remember Trump and Massey kind of fell, you know, Massey fell out of Trump's good graces because he backed DeSantis. So it took a little while to get back. Meanwhile, Angela kept carrying the torch for Ross, right? Ross got freed. Angela did bring him to that convention, and I guarantee he got votes from that convention. 100% got votes from that convention, because you were not voting Kamala, and you certainly weren't voting who they forced in for the libertarian side. The guy who actually got less votes than the guy who said don't vote for him. Like, literally, it's unbelievable that the third party candidate. Now, I'm not in that party, but just as an outside observer, it kind of hurt. But look, stuff got done. So Adelson was his biggest donor. So when he does it, when he's doing his thing with Gaza, it's like he's doing what he said. He's living up to what he said. He made deals to get to be the president. Now he's doing the deals. It's as simple as that, you know. Anyway, so everybody, we got about 15 minutes or 45 minutes before we call it a day. So I just want to let everybody know that we're going to be like, oh crap, it's 7, we're out. We're going to shut it down, but we're just going to continue the conversation. Like I said, we're on clip 6. We haven't even played that one yet, but we've got 18 clips or something. So and I've even got more. So we're just going to talk about this till we run out of the topic. So it might be 2 episodes or so. So we just want to let everybody know about that.
Yeah, it might be 2 more after this. We'll see.
It might be 2 more. Anyway, so where are we at, my friend?
So back to Elon, just to kind of show where the media was a few years ago. I pulled a couple of clips. This one's from Elon Musk on Stephen Colbert, just kind of having some good-natured fun with him.
Wasn't it great, like when they had the good times with him?
Yeah.
It's always fun.
I mean, yeah, just again, like Elon hasn't really changed. Like maybe he's more outspoken politically, but yeah, just the fact that you get into politics gets people to hate you. And maybe there's a good reason for that. We can talk about it.
Absolutely. And we will. And the other thing is too, well, I mean, we'd argue that Elon is probably on the spectrum in some way, and he's probably been working on the social stuff. And some of his earlier stuff, he was more quiet and it seemed more humble or whatever, but it might've been discomfort. And as he's gotten more and more comfortable, he's gotten just to be more expressive as well. Comfortable with that.
Something I'm working on.
I'm trying to beat
the tism.
The tism team's on it, my friend.
People have called you the real Tony Stark. Okay, you've got your finger in so many different advanced technologies. As I said, SpaceX, Tesla, now you've got Solar City and the solar pack that people put in their houses. Are you sincerely trying to save the world?
Well, I'm trying to do good things, yeah. I mean...
Yeah, that was it. Just a quick clip. It's like, teasing him about, are you a superhero or a supervillain? Are you trying to save the world? It's all positive, you know. There's some teasing, but it's like they like the guy. They had no problems with him.
Absolutely had zero issue with him, right? And like to his point is like we've seen the meme, right? AWOL Aaron mentioned about the meme being like the news, and it's like picture of the Democrat or some donkey pushing out Tulsi, and then pushing out RFK, and then pushing out Elon, and then pushing out, and then they're like, why are you leaving us? Why are you turning your back on us? It's like, who threw whom out? Let's be, who turned on whom, right? Let's be honest. The shift went super, you can call it left or whatever. It just went super non-realistic.
And crazy.
It was para-realism. Like the whole world being Fruit Loops and sprinkles and unicorns and rainbows. Like one can live that way as an individual, but a society cannot live that way it just doesn't work. Cause like shit needs to get done. It just doesn't work in that society. Right. Like we were clear. And that's what he's a blowback. Like he's Ron Paul, just like RFK and Tulsi. They're all blowback to what the Democrats had done to them as a party.
Yes. I've been hearing this a lot. Just like, can you believe they're just coming out of nowhere and doing this stuff? It's like, no, Trump and Elon are there for a reason. It's a reaction to the crazy. There's been so much crazy.
Yeah. And Trump, 2016 Trump was a reaction. We were done. Look, Bush was exposed for Iraq. Obama continued with Afghanistan, the most drone strikes. It was another 8 years. So we had 16 years or 14 year, whatever, depending on when you want to really count it. But 2001 was 9/11. So let's go with 15 years from 2001 to 2016, end of Obama, 15 years of this warmongering in the Middle East, the stealing of our data. And I'm talking about by our government, like the whole Freedom of Information Act, the Patriot Act, all that stuff. The NSA, FISA 702 that they just reinstated. And you're like, now the Fourth Amendment can be violated because they don't even need a warrant. And you're like, and what I love is like the report that stated not a single thing was discovered from it. So let's double down on our surveillance. It's like typical government shit.
We just didn't do it hard enough.
Right.
That's always
let's
the answer.
Fuck it up. So let's get double the funds to fuck it up twice as badly. Like it never made sense. Yeah, we didn't govern enough. We didn't government enough. You know, any posts you see up here you want to read off?
Justin says, Mark, you're being very strong with your tone, showing your aggressively toxic masculinity. I'm going to need a safe space. Thanks,
I had a
Justin.
testosterone shot yesterday morning, man. I'm a little amped up.
He also mentioned the 5 monkeys experiment. It's not ringing a bell for me, but we'll have to look it up. Maybe we'll talk about it next time.
We'll talk about it next time because we definitely will have a second episode about this.
Yeah.
Do you want me to pull
well,
up
anyway,
the
speaking
sound
of
clip?
2016, let's go to the next clip here. This was the last time that anyone in the media was allowed to treat Trump like a human being.
Well, this is the last time. God, look at that beautiful hair.
I just want to mess it up.
Make your hair up.
I'll be gentle. The answer is yes, but the people in New Hampshire, where I'm going to be in about an hour from now, I hope they're going to understand. Okay? You say yes? Go ahead with my hairspray.
Real. It's real. Yeah, so that's
go ahead.
The last, like I said, the last time that they were allowed to talk to Trump like a person. After that, he was Hitler, literally Hitler, orange Hitler, whatever the adjective is for Hitler, but he's that. It's just like, man, and do you remember Fallon had to come out and apologize for doing that, for humanizing Donald Trump?
I do not remember the apology.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
But that's hilarious. And what's interesting, what's funny is I didn't see the clip. I literally just saw his hair. I did not know that was a hair messing up clip. So maybe, but to that end, I think maybe I saw the clip a million times. So like triggered something in my memory and it probably triggered me to think that. So I want to be clear, that was probably a memory refresh. Or is it, you know what? It's deja vu in the simulation. We had a glitch. That's what it was. It was a glitch for me. So anyway, yeah, but like, look at him and look at Trump. Trump just like, how do you think Clinton would let you, like, Clinton played the sax. That was pretty humanizing, right? You think Hillary would let you look in her purse? You know what I mean? Like, like how humanizing could you make Hillary Clinton? The reptile. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
what you were talking about, right? You remember
here,
the hot
Hillary,
sauce
eat
thing?
this fly. Can you eat this fly? Okay, here, you're humanized. Like, what? I don't even get it.
Is that what you were referring to? The hot sauce thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Like, come on. And like, once again, we're gonna get into Jon Stewart, but Jon Stewart brings up the lab leak thing, right? And then he gets shunned. He gets on Colbert, makes that joke. The audience is silent, going, "Oh my God, holy!" What? Like, they're literally processing the truth as he's speaking it. Then he goes on sabbatical. I don't know what the hell, the reconditioning camp, whatever you want to call it. Then he comes back and then he puts the medal on a Azov battalion Nazi. And then he goes and licks Condoleezza Rice with Hillary Clinton together as the two girls are holding hands, giggling about murder in the Middle East. Like, we just had to kill them all. Gaddafi. Oh, what a card. You know, like, and he just sat there, and then you're watching him the thing, and we're going to get into Saki. And it's like, once again, you guys need to realize people like Stewart are given a lane they're allowed to be in, and they do dance against it. Sometimes they cross it. When they do, they are quickly told that they were, and they quickly fold, and they go back in their lane. You'll see it happen because he's like that. He's like like a bad bowler when they had the gutter things that you inflate so you don't get gutter balls. He's just throwing the bowling ball and he's just doing this as it's going down the lane before he's trying to hit the pins. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's literally what it is. He just plays within that range that they give him to play. And that's all what the media is. It's all fabrication.
Yeah. He made it work for him. Another example of how much bullshit this is how they treated George W. Bush. Like, he was enemy number one. He was a war criminal. But after a few years, they're just like all buddy again. Everyone's cool with George Bush. They even we're like, oh, we miss Bush. He was such a good Republican compared to Trump. It's just like, we know you're full of shit. You were calling the guy a freaking war criminal. That is not something you just, it's been a few years. It's fine. Who can remember? It's just like, you guys are not serious people. We don't buy it.
No, remember they brought Dick Cheney in under Biden. They brought Dick Cheney into Capitol Hill,
God.
and Nancy Pelosi is, hello, Dick. So glad to see you again, Dick. Let me put my hands around you. Like, oh my God, watching that sleaze fest of Dick fucking Cheney getting like literally a hand job in the middle of Capitol Hill. Like, oh,
They're
it's
just like,
disgusting.
oh, you know, it's bad. You know, Trump is really bad because even Dick Cheney's come over to our side. Fuck you.
Oh, that's right, Dick Cheney. That's not what why I left the Republicans in the first fucking place. I totally
As if
forgot.
you guys were not
Literally
on the
8
same
years ago, I
side
totally forgot.
already.
I'm like a
always been
goldfish
on
over
the same
here. All right, my friend, where we at?
You're scaring Zach with your Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, was that so scary? Oh, my bony hands are so happy to see you today. I bought some stocks and the stocks went up. That's like Kyle Dunnigan's impression of Nancy Pelosi. I can't.
He was good, man. He had some good ones.
He was fun, man. It was a good time.
Although I think we're better at RFK. We got that one.
Yeah, you nailed. But I did send you the Elon RFK thing. He's really good on that little clip.
Yeah. Oh,
When,
yeah. When he first
when he
started, I
does
was like,
house
okay,
hopping.
no. He got it down. He got it.
Elon. All right.
Well, anyway, back to Elon. Yeah. So they're mad. He's running the government. He's a billionaire. Oh, the billionaires. Of course, we only care about the 0.1% of billionaires that are not in the Democratic Party. But really, I think what they're mad at is he's kind of a kid. He has fun with it.
Yeah.
This is another part of it.
He's like trolling them in a weird way. Like he's live trolling them. And like,
it's great.
I think this next clip is going to help with the trolling. Would you not agree?
Yes. Let's get into it so people can see what we're talking about. I know you guys know this. I know you guys have seen it, but enjoy it again. It's great.
It's great because it's like, imagine Elon's like, okay, who do you want in this group? Okay. He goes, oh, we need that name. We need that person. We need that person right there. We need him right. We need that name right there. We need him. And I can't do it good. I'm still working. I'm still working on Elon. It's not good, but I'm getting there. All right, let me share this guy. I'll shut up now.
Thank you. Finally.
Disruptor in chief, Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Harry Balls, tweeted this morning, democracy in America is being destroyed by judicial coup. So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him. One of which individual has multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.sexy LLC, which he established in 2021. He would have been around 16 years old. Now, this LLC controls dozens of web domains.
So, Kara, you hear this, and you have known Elon Musk for years. So now you look at these young men who are now in data and in the private information about maybe hundreds of millions of American citizens as young as 19, the big balls here that Katie's talking about.
I just love how they're so uncomfortable with it.
I got CNN. We got the fake news saying Harry Big Balls. It's so good.
Harry Balls. Harry Balls is coming. Big Balls is right behind him. They're turning Trump gay. He's listening to YMCA. We got to stop it. Stop it right away. They're turning the frogs gay with this Big Balls, Harry Balls.
We're going to have Elon's Big Hairy Balls running the government for 4 years. It's going to be the best. You'll never see anything like it.
Comes out. Fucking, it's like, that's be great.
Oh God, yeah. So
Miley
that's
Cyrus comes in with wrecking ball and shit. Anyway,
that's just for your guys' enjoyment. Just seeing CNN anchors having to say "big hairy balls" on TV. That might be the best thing that's come out of the Trump administration so far.
Big Balls. Big Balls is just hilarious because it was before Harry Balls came up. It literally was like big balls is causing a ripple in waves. And you're like, what big balls would cause ripples in waves, wouldn't they? If they were, I don't know. They
Depends
seem
on the size of the body of water, but yes, absolutely.
Oh man, that's so crazy. These people are fucking unhinged. Is just what it is. Like, and that they have to make that part of the news. Because they can't not, because like you can't not look up hairy balls because that's what it is. So you have to mention it to connect it to the propaganda that you're trying to push. So like imagine Elon Musk is able to get the news to say things they don't want to say, but they have to say it to connect it to the story in some way. You know what I mean?
Because
Like
everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, because like,
everybody's
I wonder,
saying it.
It's like, how do I make it connected to where they have to say big balls and hairy balls? Like, how do we do this?
Honestly, it's the best. It's so good. Oh,
I
I
used
feel
to
like
work
we
in
should.
sales. Oh, good.
I feel like we should skip over a couple of things, come back to it later. Can we get to how the newsroom works? Because Jimmy Dore did a good recap of some tweets that I want to talk about. Because speaking about the news, we know we don't get real news. We get it through an ideological filter. It doesn't matter if it's Fox or MSNBC or CNN. They do the same things. They just have maybe a little different owner that they have to please, right? But it's none of it is in service of just getting us the truth.
So is that Door Media Machine, sir?
Door Media Machine? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank goodness. What's funny is I just loaded that one because we were starting to come up on it. I wanted to get into anticipation. So give me 1 second.
Oh, good. Yeah. So he's
I've got 'em both
recapping
loaded
some
up, so.
tweets. I don't know who the guy is that wrote them.
Metzger you're talking about or who?
No, the guy that wrote the tweets that he's going to talk about. We'll see. I don't know who it is, but he explains how the news really works from the inside.
Right?
Yeah.
Liberal deep state command and control system is broken. The entire liberal deep state command and control system is broken.
Oh, I said that when we watched the DNC thing. They look like they're not getting transmissions no more.
That's right.
Too many cows and not enough ranchers.
So first, let me explain to you what the liberal deep state command and control system looks like, right? Well, the New York Times' primary function isn't journalism. It's narrative coordination, setting the frame so the entire political media machine knows how to think about an issue before it takes off. Ever notice how overnight everyone starts saying Biden is as sharp as a tack or J.D. Vance is weird? It's not random. There's a system in place.
Yeah, I say it over and over.
The narrative pipeline, it's how the blob operates. The New York Times, NPR, Washington Post, CNN, and the rest don't just react to news. They function as a distributed, decentralized mission command system for the Democratic Party and the broader blob. Step one, local bureau chiefs. These guys are stationed across the country watching which stories gain traction and fielding calls from Democratic operatives, feeding them narratives, stories that they need to start controlling. Step two, New York editors, bureau chiefs snip the news and send it to New York, where an editor triages it. Will this explode nationwide? Will it simmer for days, or should we bury it? Step three, editorial meetings. The most concerning stories get flagged. Here, editors decide on the narrative framing and who's assigned to write it. Before they assign a journalist, they make one critical call to the deep state. Why? To give the government a head start on controlling the story. At this point, the deep state doesn't just say, hey, here's what happened. They strategically select sources based on the tone they want. If they need a hawkish China rhetoric, they have a China hardliner expert on speed dial. If they want to downplay a Chinese spy cartel, they go to a dovish China expert who will say it's being blown out of proportion. If it's a military scandal, they pick a trustworthy retired general to subtly steer the discussion toward a desired conclusion. This isn't journalism. It's perception warfare. That's what you're reading in the New York Times, Washington Post.
So there you go, man.
It's manufactured.
It's all manufactured. It's a good explanation. There's always some like back and forth, like who controls who, because the media does have power to set the narrative, but that's mostly because they get the sources from the government backing them up. So it's kind of like who's the dog, who's the tail, who's wagging who, right? There's a little bit of both going on, but in this case, yeah, it's The news calls their sources in the government. The government says, oh, we'll give you this guy who's going to talk about and set the frame, set the way that we're going to talk about this story. Because they can't hide things completely. The way that we have internet, social media, there's no way they can just completely hide anything. So they have to talk about it, like with the hairy balls, the big balls thing. They have to. This is a big deal. They can't just let it go. So they have to say it. But they come in with, oh, how are we going to frame this? And they work together with the government, these legacy media companies. They're one and the same. And it's not just Democrats, for people that think that.
Yeah, and we're going to go into that too. I think we're going to get deeper is who actually is running it. And if you go back to Clinton got all, like, was it 30 some news agencies and made them whittle it down to 6, all owned by GE, Westinghouse, the corporations. The corporations both drive the regulations because they pay off the politicians to create the lobbies. And they created the news outlet for the advertising to make you both the audience, both the product and the person to whom the product is being pitched. You're both sides of it. It's pretty impressive how, I don't know if impressive is the right word, but I guess it's like weird how much they squeezed out of each side of it. Like they maximized every bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's impressive, not in a good way, but it's like, okay, that actually took some work,
Absolutely. So would you like me to go to the next door one?
Yeah, any other thoughts on that? Did we get any comments?
Let's take a look.
Oh, Kash Patel got confirmed as FBI director.
Yeah, so here, go ahead and read that one, and then we'll go through that. Yeah, he got confirmed.
Will Kash shut down the FBI? Can you clean it without closing it and rebuilding it? Agents could go to the DEA, Marshal's office, etc. Yeah, I don't think you can clean it, but I may be biased. I don't think government can be fixed. I think shut it down. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I would argue once again the FBI since 2001. Well, look, the CIA is now in the United States, which they may always have been. Like, let's not kid ourselves, but they were really officially never supposed to be. And now they're like cooperating with the FBI because, local terrorism. Oh, it's terrorism. So terrorism's like a global thing. So let's bring the CIA in, and you're like, this is the country that we built. This is the ones that everyone died for. This is the ones that they fought the monarchy and the oppression and the and the empire for. And like, this is the one that my parents fought tooth and nail to get to. You know what I mean? Like as a teenager, it's like, are you kidding me? This is not. I love America. You know what I mean? I know it sounds crazy, but it's like, what's that meme? Once again, the meme thing. Aaron, I think he mentioned, is like, when people ask me about America, it's like me where the Macho Man Randy Savage with the United States thing, being like, oh yeah, dig it. Like wearing the whole US of A and the whole like lumberjack, like hacksaw Jim Duggan, America. But when you ask about the government, it becomes V for Vendetta again. It's Guy Fawkes, it's boom. So it's like the government is not the country that we grew up believing in. Those are two separate things. And
that's it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people because of the patriotism that's been baked into a lot of people. And it's sad because loving your country shouldn't have anything to do with the government, right? Your country is just the people around you, your communities, your, maybe a geographical region. But we all had this, at least allegedly, we had this ideal of freedom. America's a free country. And that just doesn't exist anymore, I don't think.
Yeah. And the problem is not that technology exists, it's what we're doing with it. We're using it. We're using it to cinch the news, right? Like, imagine East Germany, what was it, like 2 to 1 spy to citizen ratio? Imagine the paperwork and all the notes that you had to hand write. There's no way you can consolidate all that. There's no way you could do that. But with AI coming and with the data that they can get and all the location, every click, every keystroke you put in is monitored, data recorded, and you're like, for what? And it's got to be to be able to get us to do something we don't know that we're not doing or doing, you know?
Yeah. Right.
So there's a method to
Yeah.
their madness.
So if Trump succeeds, I am says, if Trump succeeds at cleaning up the government, then government will continue to exist and strip our freedoms. Overreach happens, just like shit happens. Yeah, that's the problem, right? Is if you're just making it more efficient, then one, people are going to relax. They're going to stop worrying so much about it. Like, oh, Trump cleaned it up. Must be all good now. But of course, that's not the reality. Everything in there is corrupt. Everything in there is bad. Take it all down. Take it all down.
And once again, you and I think you're a borders guy, right? You're not like a Chase Oliver, no borders guy. You like believe in borders? I would assume, to an extent. I mean,
no, I think I'm more open borders.
Okay. I'm a little bit of a borders guy, more for the nation thing, to keep the sovereignty of the ideals that we're talking about. If that makes sense, right? Like for us to have a community, like we'd have to have it like a border around it. That's our community. This is our group. It's like some way to designate this is us, I guess, right? Let's just keep it that, because we're not going to argue over the border right now.
No, I get the argument. It makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. So you get that. Okay. So let's get rid of illegal immigrants. Okay. The criminals are easy. They're fucking committing crimes right now. So they're obviously blatantly doing bad shit out in the streets. They're easy to get rid of. But what about the one that's in your attic? And you're an American citizen. And you, as an American citizen, want to have someone in your house that you like to feed because they can't get it any other way. And your heart goes out to them as an American citizen. They are not harming anyone. They are just in your house.
Mm-hmm.
At what point does the Fourth Amendment get usurped? It's like, in order to get rid of every illegal immigrant, I have to search every building in America. That includes violating your Fourth Amendment right. Well, I'm not for that. I'm not for my Fourth Amendment right to be violated for that purpose. Even if I agree with that purpose, the core piece is my natural born right of illegal search and seizure, right?
It's like the war on drugs, right? Like, we don't want like nasty drugs coming in and fucking people up, like, and killing people. That's obviously a bad thing, right? But what does it cost you to go enforce that? And that's why the war on drugs has been such a failure, is because one, you can't enforce it, and two, our government, the CIA, took it over and just decided this is what we're going to do.
What's interesting about that, we already have a history case of it. We did prohibition.
Yeah.
Look what happened. Look who came to power from prohibition. And then when it switched to marijuana, when the gangs who did the alcohol, they just did the other thing. They just moved to drugs, right? Hello? Yep. Why? Gambling, drugs, all the things that this is, humans will regulate themselves. They might overstep in the beginning. Like somebody who might try marijuana for the first time might take too much and get a little freaked out in their head the first time. And they'll learn. Hopefully they don't overdose, like not marijuana you would, but I mean, hopefully like if you took something, you wouldn't overdose and you learn your lesson and you regulate or something. And if you can't, you know what? That's your choice to not regulate then. As long as you're not hurting me, we're good,
And people are much harder to find and track down than drugs. Like you don't have immigrant sniffing dogs, right? Oh, this one smells like taco meat.
Oh my God, you smell like an immigrant. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I'm not even touching
that.
So
I'm against the mass deportations. I don't like it. If you want to go after the people that are criminally charged, great, go ahead. Like Zach says, the mass deportations are setting more precedent to kick in your door without a warrant. So fuck off. I don't care that people come in the country. I do care that we're paying for it. We're paying for luxury apartments for people who are allegedly asylum seekers when they're not.
Right. And I'll make a clear border position for me is I am a beneficiary of immigration. I believe in immigration. I just think that you got to be vetted. You know what I mean? Like if you're vetted and we have a certain number or something that we allow in, then I'm all for up and including that number. And I just think we should do it better. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. But I also think we need to lock it down. I mean, we need to
You have
know who's
issues
here.
with like who does the vetting? Vetting for what?
Right. I mean, and it would be more, it would be basic criminality if we can, and if you can't see anything, you just can't see anything. There's nothing you can do, right? But, and once again, not everybody gets in, not everybody qualifies, but coming here, it used to be certain things that were accepted to come here, but now it's like for economic asylum, but we created the fucking economic problems in their countries.
Right.
We bomb them and then they migrate and then we go, okay, we'll take, no, that's
Yes.
intentional. Right. So like the Venezuela thing, the thing that Marco Rubio signed off on, that was to destabilize Venezuela, then economic sanctions. And then you add like the wars and you add all the other stuff in the Middle East. Of course, they're going to go to Europe and everything. That's how Germany's suffering right now.
Yeah.
And that's not about compassion. That is about your existence as an actual nation to keep those ideals. Like American ideals are special because there's no place, even though they're limited, even though you and I would call them limited, right? Because they're not perfect. Nothing's perfect. But it tried to address the things that we talk about, right? And even when it's like that, you're like, it's trying to do it. We need to keep those ideals, and watering that down with people who don't believe that just because they want to come here. That's not, it's like beyond, you got to have more than a want to come here. You know what I mean? Like there's something behind it. And it's, once again, it's like, you got to put on your oxygen mask in order to help anyone else put theirs on. And if we get to the point where we suffocate, we no longer exist at all as a nation the way we were.
Yeah, right. We should probably talk more about this. But yeah, I would first just like to end the incentives. Stop paying people when they cross the border. Stop paying for their shit to live here for free when our citizens aren't treated that way. We have thousands, maybe millions of veterans who get treated like shit. There's homeless people everywhere. Like, we don't pay for them, but we pay for people to cross from Mexico and come in and live downtown New York in this fancy apartment for free. Yeah, I don't like that. And then, like you said, the bombings, just fucking end the wars. Stop displacing people. Stop ruining their homes so they don't have to immigrate. They don't have to go somewhere else. I want to start there. That's where I would draw.
Yeah, we'll start with just stop displacing people. I mean, remove sanctions and stop bombing people. Literally, Cuba, all of it. Remove all the sanctions. Let them be prosperous. Let them figure out. And who gives a shit if it works? If their system works for their people on a small scale, on a small island, but we've obviously seen it's not scalable because we've seen it not work in the Soviet Union. What is your fear? What is your fear that a small little fucking island can make it work? If which we never see it actually succeeding in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what, we put economic sanctions on them and then they're just a poor socialist country? Like, let them go through the growing pains of what socialism really is by giving them the prosperity to get them, like, then be greedy about it. You know what I mean? Like, that would probably destroy it more than anything would be like actual freedom and capitalism. Be the example, right? Be the change you want to see.
Let them fail so people like Jimmy Dore don't claim that, oh, socialism only fails because the United States fucks with their countries.
Right. And once again, I think you and I would like some of the things Jimmy Dore says, and it's not all of it, but the anti-war stuff for sure. But we certainly don't agree with his entitlement bullshit. None of us agree with, like, the way he thinks the state should work is like it should be giving you things. And sound like, fuck that. It should have no fucking power. Jimmy, I don't know how Jimmy doesn't get there yet. I really don't know how Jimmy hasn't broken to the point where it's like, Jimmy, dude, I really admire his mind. I actually saw him in improv a couple months ago. He was there a month or two with Steph. Steph opened up for him, and it was great, a good time. But like, and I admire him, but it's like, dude, I can't buy that. Why would you want to give anybody that power? You want it taken away. You saw what they do with it. every turn. It's like Peterson. Same thing. He like talks about authoritarianism and then he goes and takes a shot because he's like, well, I thought I'd comply and then they'd leave me alone. Oh, right. Because that's what they do when you comply. They don't ask for more. They don't take more. Like, come on, man. Just seems like a myopic excuse and just lazy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we got a little off track there, but let's get back to Jimmy.
All right, let's get back.
Talking about how the news works.
All right, which one are we on?
Number 2, the door.
Oh yeah,
Media Machine 2.
Got it. 1 second. I'm discombobulated because I started ranting and raving.
Zach says border debate for March.
Yes. That's the first week of March, right? I think for the friends. Let's do border debate. All right, boys, we'll do border debate. And once again, welcome everybody. We've got 44 on right now. And I will play this clip.
But once the tone is set, the editor assigns the story and suggests the approved sources to call. The journalist's job is simple. Get quotes from the right experts, write it up, and stick to the approved angles. If something goes wrong with the angle, for example, a source exposes it as a lie, they return to the editor for guidance. Occasionally, a journalist oversteps. If it's minor, it passes. If it's major, the editor kills the piece, buries it on page 16, or reassigns it to a more trusted writer to correct the framing. Overstep too many times, and you're reassigned to local news, or gently, if not your fault, we love your spark, just downsizing, you're let go. Do a really good...
That's crazy. Can you pause right there?
You'll get awards or book deals and travel. They gave...
Yeah, that's wild, man. You start to tell a little too much truth, you're relegated to local news.
Yep. Kitties and trees.
This is so good for people to understand, right? Journalists are not free to tell the truth. So even if they go in there wanting to, which I think a lot of them do, they're caught in a system. And we're going to talk about manufacturing consent more probably next time. But this is the start of it. This is how you begin to understand the inner workings. Anyway, we can go on.
Yeah, and to your point, you clipped a really important part he's going to talk about. And what it is everyone watch this. Watch and just process how it happens. Then look at your life. Reflect on your life and watch. You have done this in your life. You've gotten along to get along. I guarantee it. It's how my grandfather became a Nazi soldier. I guarantee it. You got along, and sometimes you got along too late. You know what I mean? Before you realize it. So here it is.
Pulitzers to the guys who wrote garbage about Russiagate. The guys who pushed Russiagate got Pulitzer prizes. Guys who told lies about the Syria gas attack also got Pulitzer prizes. Rachel Maddow got a $35 million reward contract for lying about Trump, Russiagate at the top of her lungs for 4 years. Nobody flatly says this award isn't for towing the party line because that would expose the scam. No, these journalists are smart. They either pick up on the reward incentives or they get gently pushed aside. Suddenly, every news outlet, late night host, and blue check is reinforcing the exact same message like during COVID. You saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And because they aren't technically taking orders, just like right now, they're calling Trump's a fascist. And because they aren't technically taking orders, they think it's their own independent analysis. This is what I talk about when I say that the people in those editorial meetings have been groomed to be in them since they were in kindergarten, and they don't know it. It's just like Chomsky told that reporter. The reporter says, I'm not told what to say. He says, I'm not saying you are. I'm saying that if you wanted to say something different, you wouldn't have that job.
Mm-hmm. That's the point I wanted to get to. If you're not saying what they want you to say, you don't get the job. You don't get the big anchor job on CNN. It's not happening.
Right. And to your point, let's be honest. You and I are fledgling podcasts. We just talk about messages of whatever we think is truth. And we're wrong, but I don't think we ever come from dishonesty. I think we come from what we think is right at the time. And sometimes that information changes and we might change our mind. I really do think we're more fact seekers than truth seekers, if that makes sense. But that all said, like, we can get stuff wrong, but you don't see our numbers growing exponentially like the people who toe these lines. And this isn't like sour grapes. Okay. I've seen natural organic, it's a little bit, right? I've seen natural organic growth though from real channels that have just been amazing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about clearly you and I have paranormal, like next to normal, outside of normal outside of the box ideas that are just disruptive to the general narrative. And that's why no one's promoting or pushing those types of things. So what we've done recently is kind of started collaborating, and it's become a lot more successful that we are in our own little group, which sucks because it almost makes it like a tribe, but it's like not, we're just like talking about exchanging the ideas, right? But it is interesting how that works, because our stuff's not being pushed by any algorithm. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ticked on YouTube every day for some violation of fact that I spoke.
Alternative facts, brother. That's your mistake. You got to sub in the other alternate facts, the alternative to the alternative.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we got about 5 to 10 minutes, sir, before we call this a day. Thank you again to everyone who joined us today. I see 45 on right now. We started talking about the media, and we've got a whole other podcast.
Questions or cut out there.
Run in chat. Anybody in chat? I am for him. I know he took off, but Zach, jump on. Justin, feel free to ask a question, and AWOL Aaron, come on in there. And do we?
Zach's still here. 45.
Which one's 45? What's that?
We got 45 viewers.
Oh yeah, 45. I'll take it.
Or he's a big fan of Donald Trump. I don't know.
And we said we weren't growing. No, we are grateful for everyone who, once again, people who share their time with us. This is amazing. And if anybody's doing it organic, you and I are certainly doing it organically. It's not like we have anybody behind us like pushing these things. So do we have any other clip before we call it a day on that? Or is this where you want to stop?
I'm still waiting for that CIA check to come in so I can start telling the real truth.
Woodward 2.0?
The government approved truth.
Perfect. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting to disrupt just enough for them to give us a call and to get us to change our minds with the shmamula. Is that basically what they're trying to tell us?
Yep. You won't know I'm rich. I'm not going to tell anybody, but there will be signs.
Yeah, the ideology will be one of them. You're like, that Kamala, I've been thinking about it. I've been ruminating on Kamala, and she, you know what? She was
totally
the right
wrong.
choice. She was the right choice. I was totally incorrect about her. So, we want anything before we call it a day on this one, sir? I know it's getting late.
I think that's it, man. Thanks everybody for joining us. Come back and see us next time. We may be picking up the media. We may be with Valley Girl. I don't know.
Don't know what's going on. We'll figure it out. But to everyone, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. And once again, we're not here to tell you guys what to think. It's not our job. I'm happy to debate what we think if we think different things. That's not about it either. But you've been programmed. I'm telling you, if you have an ideology, chances are someone put it there. Some people, groups, your whole life, whatever. Live on your experiences. Take a step back. Try to untangle those programmed moments. Get out of that operating system. Just look at the world slightly differently. Trust me, things change. It will change when you perceive slightly differently.
Absolutely right. Nothing to add to that.
Well, thank you, sir. Great meeting you this week. I look forward to actually a face-to-face podcast. We'll have to actually do one.
We'll do it.
Maybe we'll do a barbecue at the house and then just bring everybody over, and we'll just do like a little bit of that while we're doing that. So
there you go. Everybody on the chat here, you're invited. Come fly in.
Yes,
Phoenix.
Absolutely. Justin can come over. I think we can bring Justin. I know he lives in the area.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, everyone, thank you again. This has been another Consciously Unmasked. I'm really having a fun time, Jason. Thank you so much for doing this with me, because it's hard to do this alone, and it's hard to find some people that are similarly motivated to do it, but have challenges like with the solo part of it. So I like the back and forth a lot more.
Well, like I said, I don't like very many people, so for me to spend this much time with you is definitely a compliment. Thanks, buddy.
I won't take it as that. I think you're mentally deranged to actually spend this.
That too.
I have total imposter syndrome, bro. It's not gonna help. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Take care.
Bye.